In this video, we're going to go over the effects of focal length on your images. Right now, I'm being shot at 70 millimeters. We're now going to go through and do a series all the way from 16 millimeters all the way up to 135 millimeters, so you can see the difference of the angle of view that these different lenses will have. Now, angle of view is what we typically think of when we think of zooming in and zooming out. Being zoomed out is a very wide angle of view. Being zoomed in is a more narrow angle of view. So let's see what I mean when I talk about that. So now you can see what I was talking about with angle of view. This is a wide angle of view. My camera is still in exactly the same spot it was before, but we're shooting at 16 millimeters. Now, as we go ahead and move it towards 35 millimeters, you're going to see my angle of view is going to get smaller. From 35 millimeters, we'll pass on through to 50 and then all the way to 70. All right, we're getting pretty close on me now, aren't we? And now we're at 135 millimeters, a very narrow angle of view. You can see in this series where we've kept our camera at the exact same spot how we went from super wide all the way down to super tight. Now here's an image you probably are never going to want to take. That is, unless you really don't like the person that you're taking the picture of. So why is it that I look like this and I have a giant forehead in this image? Well, it's because right now we have a very short focal length lens on our camera. It's set to 16 millimeters. Whenever you take a shot of somebody with a very short focal length lens, you're going to see a lot of perspective distortion in the image. And actually, this is something you probably have noticed before, but didn't know why. You end up looking not so great in selfies on your phone. The reason is that, just like the camera lens I'm using right now, it's a very wide angle lens on your camera phone. So when you turn it around and try to take a selfie, you're going ahead and introducing this exact same type of really unflattering type of effect on your image that you're trying to take of yourself. So let's see how we can get rid of this highly unflattering appearance by changing our lenses up and switching our focal lengths to something a little bit longer. All right, now I think I look a fair bit better than I was looking before. Yes? Ah, good. Okay. So now we've moved the camera back a bit and we've added on a 50 millimeter lens. A 50 millimeter lens is considered a normal lens. Why is it called this? Well, because this is an angle of view that is similar to what we end up having in our own eyes. You'll notice that I look pretty much as normal as you would expect in this. I don't look like I have any crazy distortion that's going on with my forehead there. This is why, for a lot of people, we suggest that the first lens that you get after the kit lens is the 50 millimeter 1.8 lens, because you're able to add this on to your camera and then go ahead and take shots that are far more flattering of people. Ooh, I think I like this one of me best of all. Now, why is that? Well, it's because right now we're filming me with a portrait lens. And a portrait lens is a long focal length lens that allows us to have all these different special optics that come together that combine to give us different elements of compression with the perspective in our background and allow us to have the camera be further away from our subject. That's just a really complicated way of saying it makes people look even more attractive than they often do in real life. So this is the lens that when I go to Fashion Week, I go ahead and photograph beauty campaigns with for headshots because it makes people look really attractive. This is also the same type of lens that somebody would go ahead and use for magazine covers. So when you go ahead and look at those pictures of celebrities and say, oh, this looks like unattainable beauty that I can never have. Well, it is. It isn't real. When you go ahead and use one of these lenses, it does make people look even better than they possibly could look just with your own naked eye. So as you can see, by changing your focal length of your lens, you can have a really huge impact on what your subject looks like. Overall, if you're taking a portrait of somebody, what I usually suggest people do is use the longest focal length lens they have available to them. Why? Because most of the time, you want to make your subject look as attractive as possible. And the way to do that, the quickest way by far, is to use the longest focal length lens you have available to you.